Welcome to the Newstrength Way, a podcast made for empowering people to become their strongest selves through movement, education, and connection.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Newstrength Way podcast. Today is going to be a little bit different, and I'm going to be interviewing Nathan on basically incorporating fitness or including fitness and keeping that into your life when you've become a father recently. So, Nathan, how old's Macey now?
6 months.
6 months?
Yeah, almost. Just about.
Which, that's pretty crazy. It doesn't seem that long at all, does it?
No, it's gone so fast. Like I was saying to one of my clients the other day, it's been the fastest 6 months of my life. So I'm assuming everything will just continue to go quick from here.
Yeah, and just to give people a bit of background, like where would you have placed, like, prior to Macey coming along, your training and fitness, like, as in terms of priorities? How much were you training, that sort of stuff?
I was training a fair bit. I'd say around 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
Roughly, somewhere give or take, depending on it. Like, it just depended on the week, but somewhere around 10 hours ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where would you say it got to once Macey was around? Like, what did that sort of look like, or how did it change?
I went from 10 hours a week probably to an hour, probably like 3 20-minute sessions, 15-minute sessions, something like that.
Yeah, and how's that changed now? Like, obviously, Macey's a little bit older, things are a little bit more settled. What does your training look like now?
Probably 3-4 hours a week now.
Yeah.
Just depending on the week, but minimum of 3. So I get the 3 sessions done. They generally take about an hour, and then 4 if I have a bit more free time. Just depends on the week, but most of the time 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, cool. And so I guess the big question that a lot of people have is like, well, how do you balance it and fit it in with, obviously, a lot of things change very quickly in your life. What was it what helped you keep some consistency there? Where do you find that you have some battles some days?
That's a good question. The consistency is just, obviously it still has to be high up in the priority list of things, like looking after yourself, and I know that I'm just better in general to be around, and I feel better when I train, so continuing training was just the right thing to do for everyone anyway. Like, it was good for me, it made me, like, realistically better person, feel better, more energy and all those things, and that, I guess, was a way I could easily justify it. But yeah, I think just making it non-negotiable as well. Like, if the time's there and you don't need to be elsewhere, and nothing's urgent, then it's non-negotiable and it has to get done.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like, and back to your original question, I think knowledge is one of the main things that's helped me, because I know I don't have to train 10 hours a week to get results. Just those 3 or 4 hours that I am training, I just need to make sure I'm doing it well and prioritizing things, and I know I'll still move forward, and hence why I transitioned into the weight loss phase too.
Yeah.
Since Macey's been here, because I know I can still progress in that sense with 3 hours of training a week, and I don't necessarily need more than that, and I can still get results and go from there.
Cool. And where let's continue on with that. Like, what's been some struggles with it? Whether it be headspace wise or practicality wise.
Yeah, like general, like being tired and not feeling like training very often. Like, the time does come, and say when I finish on the floor in the morning, like, and you have 5 hours straight or whatever it is with people, and then you got half an hour to 40 minutes to hit a session before I have to go grab Macey, and like, there's most of the time it doesn't, like, I'm not overly excited to train, so there's moments where I'm not so motivated to do it, but it just comes back to it being non-negotiable, and it just gets done. And I think this training for so long, how it's habitual, and you kind of do it whether you feel like it or not, it's helped me now. I think if I was trying to take up training now, it'd be very tough.
Yeah.
And I think I'd find it more tough, but that, and just making it work too. Like, obviously I enjoy going fishing, but I have to still train, so I make, like, that's the reason why I get up at stupid hours in the morning and do that, so I don't do it when training time's on, so I can still train. And it's just about, I guess.
So that's just to cut you off there.
Yeah.
Fishing's probably like another, because for a lot of people, like, training is a hobby as well.
Yeah.
But your fishing routines that you have set up with Sarah, like, how does that work into giving you that your own time and Are we going to go too deep?
Pretty much when
you run away for a couple of hours.
When Sarah says I can go, I go. No, so obviously like it is hard. Like it is hard to balance everything, but you just need to give attention in the places where you feel as though you need it, and training is one of them, and also fishing is one too, because it's not. It is still outcome driven, but it's not as much as training. And it can be it can be a bit flexible too on when I go. Like, but me wanting to do everything, I generally just go at like 3 in the morning, like, and then come into work if I have a late start, or even if I don't, sometimes on Fridays I'll just do it then, so I can still train on Friday afterwards. And it's just about, I guess, prioritizing your time and finding where you can do it and it doesn't conflict with other things. Like between that 3 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. mark, Macey's asleep anyway and Sarah's asleep, so I'm not generally missing anything there, so that works out pretty easily. And also just making sure that the time you do, like, you are doing something, you're doing it and you're not elsewhere. Like if I'm training, I'm just training, like, and I get through it pretty quickly, or I don't sit around as much as I used to, or things like that. Like, I think
let's talk a little bit more on that as well. Like what specifics of your training have changed in the details of, like, you obviously said that you're focusing more on a weight loss phase at the moment rather than like a strength and performance focus. What does that look like? What things are you including more of? Are you including less of? What changes are there?
So with the weight loss phase, I think I've definitely condensed my total volume in sessions, so I get through. All that means is I get through the sessions quicker for the same amount of work. So just increasing work capacity. Frequency is higher, so I generally do full body every session because I'm only training 3 times a week.
Your total frequency is not higher, but your frequency per hit muscle.
Correct. Training session frequency is not higher, but body part per session frequency, I guess you'd say, is higher in that sense. But I've forgotten what your actual question was.
How's your training changed?
Yes, just condensed, like less rest periods, less time, but still trying to get the same amount of work done. So I'd just say condensed workload, and then also just not being distracted whilst I'm there. Like when I'm doing it and I get it done as quick as I can, and try and keep some quality about it. Like obviously if you go too fast, quality diminishes in your training, just due to fatigue, but go through as quick as I can while still getting the necessary loading done.
And I guess, is there any changes in, like, is there certain exercises that you don't do as much of, or things like that, because they take more time?
Yeah, not really weightlifting much. I done it the other day just for a little bit of a muck around when I had a bit more time, but purely just doing things that are going to give me the return on investment for a specific goal I have, and nothing more. It's like very much minimal effective dose, and that probably answers the question in itself. It's just what's the minimal output I can do to still move towards this thing I'm trying to achieve, and for me 3 sessions a week will do that until it doesn't. And then also just condensing that total workload into a shorter period of time is very, very good for the weight loss side of things too. So I guess to answer your question, minimal effective dose, and just make sure you're hitting that.
Yeah, cool. And I guess part of that, like, you have the luxury of having a full gym basically to yourself in most training times as well. So if somebody was trying to do that in like a commercial gym, how would they be basically, like, because you can use 3 barbells if you need to use 3 barbells, how would be some ways that they could practically do that for themselves?
I think just restrict yourself to a certain time period then you have to leave from. So say you have 40 minutes and there's no longer, or an hour or whatever it is, and that'll make you work faster than you normally do, and you'll be surprised what you can get done in a condensed period of time if you have to. Then also in terms of training, your training program, just mainly superset almost everything really. Just you don't want anything that's conflicting, so you'd do pressing and pulling movements together, and like match your squats with some kind of upper body movement, and just there's lots of ways to go about things where you can get a lot of things done at once. And as you said before, Jake, with having the privilege to have 3 bars set up, there's always something you can do. Like you can pair your bench press with some kind of rowing movement with dumbbells or pull-ups, or there's always something. And I think just focusing on quality of work and consistently moving and getting the work done in a short period of time, and just don't have distractions. Like if you take your phone in and you're someone that likes to sit on your phone in between sets, and your session normally takes an hour, you could probably get your session done in 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And then that's no longer, so if you do that 5 times a week, an hour and a half session, and you think that's how much time it takes to train, you're probably more likely to just chuck it away when your time does get restricted. But if you can get the workload done in half the amount of time, it's not so hard.
Yeah.
So say if you do have a little one like I do and they have a sleep, they sleep for an hour or whatever it may be, you can, if it's a 10-minute drive to the gym, 10-minute drive, 40-minute session, 10-minute drive home, done. Where if you still assume it takes an hour and a half to 2 hours or whatever you're used to, then I think that'll be more of a restriction.
Yeah. I think a thing that I know that I've used in times when you've got X amount of time to train as well is I use a running clock on my phone and just have it sitting there. Is one, because I am tend to in strength phases and training for strongman stuff, I don't mind sitting on my phone for a couple of minutes just to take up the time. But when that's not the focus and the focus is getting the work done, having that running timer, one, stops you from actually going to anything else on your phone because you look at the timer, but two, you can see exactly how long it's been every time, so it's a constant reminder to keep you moving.
Yep.
So I think that's a good tip for anyone that's training by themselves, find that they get stuck on their phone or whatever it might be and just trying to get some density in is an awesome little practical way to do it. Let's move forward into the next few months. What's coming up for your training there, or what's moving forward? How do you think it'll change? Will it change at all?
I don't think it'll change too much. Like programming and periodization and things like that will change. So the programming will change, but not too much. I'll still do 3 to 4 sessions a week and try and get them done as quick as I can. Main emphasis being around the main lifts at the start. So generally in a program, you'd have whatever you're trying to progress out or emphasize the most at the start of the program. So if I have 45 minutes free, I might spend 25 minutes to half an hour on the first lifts.
Yeah. Purely
to make sure I'm getting the progressive overload that's programmed and the appropriate intensity. And then with the accessory lifts or any complementary lifts really, or any conditioning, that can be done in a much faster rate because the percentage is generally lower and you're looking for some kind of fatigue anyway. So you can prioritize putting that at the back end in a somewhat of a fast format. But I don't think training will change too much. I'll just progressively get heavier as we peak over the next 8 weeks. So it'll be 5s and then 3 and 1.
Yeah.
But besides that, I don't think it'll change.
Back under clean and jerk snatches.
There is. I want to. So it just depends how much time it takes, and I'll do that. The other day I done it just to warm up.
Yeah.
Before I squatted. So I grabbed an empty bar and done some barbell cycling work, like overhead squats and muscle snatches, and then just kept going. I just said I'll go till I miss. And then that was with the snatches, not the power snatches, and just done that, and it worked out well, and I moved on. So I might do it here and there. I'd like to. Just depends on time. This week's not really going to happen just because I need to watch Macey more than normal, and next week might be different.
Yeah.
It's just first things first is base of strength, and that'll be my priority because I need that to progress in my lifts anyway.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what happens. But long story short, I'd like to.
So let's give a at-home tip for, say, somebody who's about to have a little one or has just recently had a little one, maybe a big monster like Byron who's only a couple of months away. But if you could isolate it down to, say, 2 or 3 small actionable things that they can do to try to help keep some consistency in their training, what would they be?
Still remember to look after yourself, and if for you that's training, then keep it somewhere in there. Don't have the mindset that it has to be what it was. It can change and you can still get progress. So if you were doing a training cycle that was 5 days a week and you think, I can't do that anymore, my training's ruined, it doesn't have to be that. And you can change things. So be adaptive or adaptable at the same time, and make sure you can change with what's going on. Obviously, as well, just have the conversation with your partner that it's important to you as well, and
that
make sure
probably be number one.
Make sure
Don't
that
run off to the gym
they're
before telling them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not in the situation. In all honesty, I think it would be hard if you're not doing as much at home as you could, then you're going to the gym and then things like that. If you helping out at home doing your thing and you're not away all the time, then training for 2 hours a week isn't that much time.
Yeah.
So it again comes back to priorities and just make it non-negotiable. So I guess that was one big thing, but to summarise, be adaptive and know that training can be different, it doesn't have to be the same, and then have a good relationship with your partner where you can actually talk about the things that you want to do and you can give the reasoning why, and if they support that, it'll make it 100 times easier. And then at the end of the day, when you are sleep deprived and tired and you don't feel like training, remember that it's non-negotiable and you just do it anyway, and that'll continue giving you progress through a time where training's not the priority, but it can still definitely complement your life.
And if it comes down to it, just take the baby to the gym.
Yeah, exactly. You can do that too.